We are sisters who channel ancient and divine beings from two councils of thought. Lazarus is a divine counsel, and Lucian is a counsel of our shadows within the illusion. These beings teach us how to be better people, leading to better lives, and we help teach you how to live your best life.
All right, so it's Tuesday, April the 5th, right? It's April the 5th. Yes. And we're doing a Tuesday teaching today on time and multiverses. And we talked about this yesterday, and it got a little more deep than I thought it was going to get. So I hope that I hope we make it understandable. And if we don't, write comments. We'll try to dumb it down. I really want all this stuff to be like spirituality for dummies. I want us to get it. So if it's still too spirit, tell me. I'm going to try to bring it back down more human so we understand it, because it's fascinating. And it's not what we've been told. I was flipping through Instagram earlier, and Gabby Bernstein had like this little maybe podcast clip or YouTube clip of her talking to a medium. And the medium said that we are born with these gifts and with this light inside, the ability to connect to it. We are just taught that we don't. And that's very true. We just need to unlearn some things and remember what's true. So we're hoping that we can do that for everybody, to have everybody wake up and remember, live better lives, not be stuck in all this nonsense and hurt and pain anymore, to just kind of see it for what it is so you can experience it better. It doesn't hurt as bad once you understand what's going on, once you can detach from everything. You're not so like, oh my God, that was the worst thing that's happened to me. You don't have to feel all that anymore. You just feel like, well, that kind of sucked, but what's next? I'm going to learn from that and not do that one again.
Absolutely. And I'm glad we're on this subject, because there's a lot of misunderstandings about this subject. So I don't know what you guys talked about yesterday. I have no clue. Just my body was present. That's all I know. And I was outside and I had to pee really bad after. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But which is all right. But it's a fascinating subject, because Loki series has brought this up. Bill and Ted has brought this up. What is it? What are our past lives? What does it all mean? Yep. But I think we all need to be comforted. I think that's the thing, and understand the divine a little bit more. I really think we need to understand our spirit guides. All of it has a connection, but it has something with these multiverses that we're going to discuss today.
Yes.
And that. So I love that this subject, we're going to do this.
Me too. I'm excited. I just see that Destiny's here, and she says, "I'm so glad to see you guys. We're glad to have you here." Yay!
Destiny!
About this one, I think you're going to like this one. I think you're going to have good questions. I think you're going to be good. I'm excited about that.
She'll definitely have good questions, because she's got great Facebook posts.
Yes, she does. She's very inspirational, and I dig it hard, because we need more of that.
I love her. They are inspirational. Yeah, exactly. Go Destiny. Go. I love it. Yes.
So I wanted to start with this book that Spirit made me buy, this book of Secret Wisdom, just because there's something relevant. So we've talked before about how Marcus is sitting on a hammock, like on this beach thing. And then normally when we see our spirit guides, we see them in libraries, or we see them on like a beach, or we see them in caves. It's like normally the places we see them. So in this book, it talks about that. And it talks about how the beach is called Shambhala. So in Shambhala, indeed, not people, but gods abide. The greatest teachers, the leaders of humanity, the discoverers of the distant worlds, the messengers of the faraway stars. In shining bodies of divine purity, they glide about like angels, doing their work every moment. Ceaselessly, they watch over the world, protecting it from a disastrous fate. A seal of smiles illumines their sunny faces, enchanting the gaze of the pilgrim who is encountering for the first time in their life the miracle of miracles, which actually exist here on earth. And I love that, because it shows that this is really God doing this stuff. It's how it's supposed to be. It's very easy. It's all written down for us in many books that it just leads you to read, because it's proving itself to us, because it wants us to know it is him. So we trust it.
Absolutely.
And then we'll feel all these goosebumps. All this stuff resonates. I know reading the Bible, things resonated with me. Thinking there was a God that created everything to punish us if we make mistakes never resonated with me. Never. That never felt right. And because it's not what's going on here. This is like a school where we are learning lessons. And apparently the school is open just at one period, one cycle. And the cycle is to go from creation to perfection, right? So we are on, what was it, Earth number 4, you've said? So we are on Earth number 4, going from creation to perfection. So this end of time of this explosion is when it's perfected. It's not being destroyed because God's mad at us. It's nothing like that. It gets destroyed when it's perfected, because then it's done. It's like finishing a puzzle. He's done. He'll move on to the next creation. Well, what does it do? So you said God does not come down here. You guys are the part of God that has come down to interact with this place. And Marcus has only done it once because of the difficulty of it. And then afterwards, I want you to talk about what happened afterwards when you had to go back to God. So what happens when we go back to God after we've had a life? This is so interesting.
This is Marcus. Hello.
Hi, Marcus.
Hello. All right. So I came down. Now, as you mentioned, you on Earth number 4. I was on Earth number 2. And I was already a perfect being already. So I was already perfect, but I was curious what the fuss is about. Of course, you want to experience it. So I came down here and, it was difficult because the things that are being thrown when you're already perfected, when things are coming at you. So, yes, how I passed. So she wanted to know how about the creator. Okay. So we talked about this in a little of a humorous way, and I'll keep it that way because I feel that humans understand more of the humor part of it.
Yeah.
But to understand this really happened, and it seems humorous to a human, but this is what happens afterwards. This is why I decided never to come back because of this. And understand, Locaus has gone through this mass times. All right. So I leave and that. Now, mediums can, when you are talking to somebody that has just left, you can't talk to them for like 2 or 3 months. You just don't have no contact with them. And usually the human wants to know, well, where are they at? And usually the medium says, well, they're interrogating and they're new. Well, not really. You're getting interrogated. And I say interrogated because that's what it feels like, by the great divine. Now, the divine is man and a woman, a feminine and male energy. I won't say man and a woman because it is more of an energy, but it's hard to describe. But beautiful, like the beautiful most rainbow you could see talking at you. So you get into the interrogation room, and every little thing you've done in your life, every decision, starting from birth, you may not remember, but when you are here, you will remember. Why did you make that decision? Why did you make that decision? That didn't make no sense. And he's very logical. The male is very logical. The female is quiet, but very emotional. But the male is logical. Now he's trying to understand your decisions. Why did you make this decision? Why did you make that decision? And I can give Angela an example where she thought this was hilarious. I had a food allergies in life. All right, I had a food allergy. Well, there was a great party, and it was an insult if you didn't eat. Okay, so it was an insult. I understood that, so I ate knowing, okay, I'm going to have to do some things here, but I knew how to maneuver my energy field, but it wasn't smart on me. I was sick for a couple of days, but it would insult, the whole village. So I go up there. Now, I don't remember how old I was here. And so he asks me, he goes, so what did you have that bean dip for? You knew that you had an allergy to this. I go, it would insult the village. Well, could you have done something else? Would they have not understood that you didn't have to do this? I'm like, well, they might have felt insulted because I was like, that is true. But there, and then so what he says is there's multiple ways you could have gone around it. And he tells you and computes it because he's a very logical being. And you take it like, and then if you get angry, he says this to you. Are you getting angry? Are you getting frustrated? And you're like, yes, I am. Because now I'm a loving being, but I'm getting frustrated because every little tedious thing you've done, if you've picked your nose in traffic, I didn't do this because there was no cars in the day. I'm just example. If you picked your nose in traffic thinking nobody saw you, you have to explain yourself to the divine. But why did you do that? That made no sense. Could you have scratched your nose after you were in the house? If you any little thing you've done, you think that you don't have to be accountable for. He holds you accountable for every single thing. I tell you, the bean dip thing was like it felt like 2 years. It felt like 2 years. By the time my death. He goes, did you make sure the female, which Destiny's there, did you make sure she knew all your information? I said, well, she knows my information. Well, did you make sure you left this? Well, yes. Well, you didn't leave that information. Now the world's not going to have this information. I'm like, okay, I'm an old man. I was lucky to remember what I did. Okay. And then how my death was, an arrow. He goes, well, why would you go somewhere where you knew deers were getting shot? Why would you stand there for? That was kind of stupid on the other part. Okay, well, let me go. And he said, you could have died like this and still achieved the same thing. So the point of everything with the divine, he's learning from you. Every single thing you do. And he computes it like a computer. He'll give you other decisions you could have made, other choices you could have made, but had the same outcome. Yeah. And because of this, I told him, he said, I like to come back and fix the little things that I messed up on. I said, no, we're done. I said, just based on this, absolutely 100% no, not happening. Because that alone was like, no. So, but he does it to every single, except for Loki. Loki will never have that done because of who he is. Everybody by now, he's Cain. Cain was said, you'll walk forever. Now he's gone through every explosion. And remember, he's an energy. So he's going to come back and do something every single time, but he always comes back. Yeah. So he's been here from planet 1 to planet 4, but he doesn't have to go through any of this. Right. And he's lucky, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, yeah. So, I think the creator's lucky also.
I think so. The stories would be fascinating, I'm sure, coming from Loki, but that is part of this process. You are here to learn, and he wants to know everything that you are here to do. So he will ask you, but he's very logical, but you got to understand, what is love? He's achieved it 3 different times. What is love meaning to these people? So so that's what you're achieving is love. You could have made this decision in love. Everything he asked me was the being deaf. They would have understood you. They would have loved you, wouldn't they? Would they have hated you, not got the message, and told me but it was all about love. How could you achieve this situation with another method of love? Why did you do it like this? Or why did you do it like that? You didn't put this in your book, but he's very logical and he'll give you that. And it's very intelligent decisions based on the other 3 times he's had. Right. So he's already had experience, but he's a very young creator. Understand, he is young. He is still learning. I would say he's in Harvard College right now, if I want to consider. He's in Harvard College, and he's understanding it, right? He's getting it. So, and a lot of people you want to know are beings now, and that, because he really wants to get it from everybody's perspective now. But all the information you have goes here. It computes. But now the channeling, we're channeling from Shambhala. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I'm glad to be here because everything I do now, I don't have to answer for.
But we do, which is crazy. So if you or Loki or Locaeus, do something through us, like Locaeus eats, right? This late night snacking nonsense, he's not going to be asked about it. We'll be asked, why did you allow him to eat for you when you know it's not you? So
absolutely.
Now I'm aware of that. I don't want to do it because I don't want to have to answer. I don't know. I did know better. Like when you truly know better at this point, how do you justify any decision? Right? Like, I don't want to do anything now.
Well, he doesn't accept that as an answer.
Destiny has a question. Is each Earth an actual separate Earth or separate stages of the same Earth?
Different stages of the same Earth.
Okay.
That's a great question. Yes, it's a different stage. This is on stage 4. And he achieved everything, the first 3 stages. Now you're on 4. And that. So absolutely. I'm glad she asked that question because that's what's going on. You're on just a different stage, but Earth.
Awesome.
Yes. Because he achieved it 3 different times of perfection. He's on number 4. He just wants to change it up.
So are we here when it explodes? Is that
Okay.
some experience? Because I know
No.
that's fear.
No. Well, let me bring Loki because Loki would be better to explain these things. If you really want that kind of perspective, Loki's going to be your deity for this
Thank
one.
you, Marcus.
Are you very welcome? Hello.
Hi, Loki.
I'm the one that never dies. I never die. He said that. He said that Planet One, you will never die, and he meant it.
Explosion light.
Not fun. Oh, no. Okay. Let me ease everybody's mind here. Let me ease all your minds. What happens is when everybody's been perfected, everybody's perfected. Now, Jesus, everybody, he was perfected. Now, we're going to get into the multiverses a little bit, but just a little tidbit about Jesus. He perfected all his lives. That's why he came back the way he came back. He was perfected under the divine. So he is of the divine. Of course, he's not the creator. And everybody says he is the creator because he is Yahweh. Because think about that. If nobody's here taking care of stuff, so the energy is part of that. The creator can do most anything the creator wants to do. So, but Jesus was just basically, he took like 40,000 different lives and just perfected it through all the planets, and he perfected it. That's Jesus.
Wow.
Okay. So that was his last life, once and for all. But that was a divine experiencing it, though. Now, I understand that's a divine. Okay, so what happens, though? So what happens after and I did mention that, but perfection, you are all perfected, except for me. I'll never be. Now, you guys, what happens for you, because it's not the same for me, but I've witnessed it. Each one will have, everybody achieves their lives. It's a multiverse of many lives. We'll discuss that and we'll get it down. But everybody, as to say, has perfected their lives. It's like you're taking that Rubik's Cube and taking the last little bit of colors. Everybody turns into light and golden light. And you never know the planet is gone. You'll never know because you're into the divine light. Once you've perfected it, it's like one big energy ball. And it's so energetic, it cannot handle the vibration anymore. And it literally will just explode just based on that. It can't handle that. It can't handle that vibration. He's achieved perfection. There's no sense now.
Right.
And so the planet explodes just due to the fact that it can't handle it anymore. And what happened to me? Fun. Yeah, it's great. So, but I come back every time. And that Marcus was on planet 2 and I'm here on planet 4. So, but that's what happens. And that you just kind of, you humans do that. I do not. Well, Atlantis, you might ask, where was Atlantis? And all of the wonderful things you hear about. Planet 2, planet 3 was not planet 4. Dinosaurs, planet 4, because there's evidence of that. But like Atlantis and all that was planet 3.
Okay.
So all those things like that. But the information is from the fire. He saves the information for the fire. That's his energy. You hear about the holy fire and the fire. Well, I turn into fire because I got to do something. So I turn into fire, but I retain its information. But there's other things of fire, not just me. So you may ask, well, if I on planet 1 or planet 2, well, what he does is he takes the best energy and brings it to planet 2. The best energy that is achieved, he brings it to planet 3. The best achievers, he brings to planet 4. If you are on planet 4, you are up there. I'm telling you, because you probably are from planet 1, and your lives are probably, from there. And when I say new souls, I mean you're from planet 4. You have not experienced planet 1, 2, and 3.
Huh.
That's what we mean by that. So maybe when I say old souls, I'm not talking about this planetary experience. I'm talking about planet 1 and that's when I say old soul. Destiny, for example, planet 1.
Okay.
She was one of the keepers of Atlantis. But she was on planet 1, and she was one of the holy fires that kept the information.
Yeah.
And that, well, of course, with Marcus, she kept that information, and of course, he got yelled at over the divine. But I got briefly, I got yelled at, but that was it, and it was one of them things. I'm like, Melchizedek, why'd you do it like that? Why'd you do it like that? And then I'm like, I'm not dead. You cannot do this to me. Remember, I cannot die. And the divine just backed away. Like, okay, so it was just like maybe a 5 minutes for me. But that's what happened. So don't worry about that. You won't even know I just turn into fire and hold and retain the information. But there's several that will hold. The great teachers will hold that information.
Yeah.
And that, like Sri Krishna would be a fire. I would be a fire. Lokeas would be a fire. We would hold that information. And several would be chosen to hold that information. So when he brings it to planet 4, that's still retained from planet 1, 2, and 3, just bringing it to 4. So that is when we say that. So don't worry about it. You'll never know, because you'll just be in that divine, beautiful love, floating around in this hippie love. You'll never know what happened. Never. Because you perfected it.
Yeah. So it's not scary, because we're all told, like, he explodes it when you're bad. He blows his shit up when you're bad. But no, we're learning. He expects us to be bad. But he wants to know why we choose it. Why do you need to choose it? But he's just learning from it. So it's just, we're all learning from one another anyway, and he's learning from us. So do we want to start getting into this multiverse thing? Okay.
All right.
So let's start with the visual that you said yesterday, or that one of you said. I don't remember who it was because my brain is crap. And you were talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, how they had all the intertwining tubes. So they had like their phone booths going through all the tubes. That's kind of like what's going on. Everything is weaved in and out of each other, but everything in creation is happening at the same time. So let's talk about that. Explain that to us.
All right. Well, you probably wonder how, like, I can time travel, and that's what I can do: change realms, time travel, shapeshifter, all of that. It's very simple when time is continuous. Right now, and the amount of lives going on right now in your life, you got to remember. Okay, so it looks like the Bill and Ted. If anybody's ever seen Bill and Ted, it looks like a straight. No, it doesn't loopy. It looks like a lot of just the most bright light you can possibly imagine. And it's like, if I was like, when I'm time traveling, for example, I go and I just find where I want to go. It's very simple. I think where I want to go, and I just travel down the little energy highway, and I get to where I need to go.
Right.
Future, past. Now, you got to remember your life here, for example, you have multitude of choices. So that is all broke down. And every choice you didn't make or should have made is already being done right now. But the choice you're making now, so where you're at right now are based on all choices you've decided to make now. So what the divine is doing is computing your choices. Why didn't you make this choice? Well, what would have happened had they made this choice? So because he wants to see what happens if you make each choice. So understand, you probably have just maybe thousands of lives just based on this one life, let alone all of the past lives going on. So when we say you may have a life in the Renaissance, like for example, I could say for Michelle, she has a Renaissance life going on right now, several Renaissance lives. She's got life in the future. She's got some in the past, but she's got a bunch of lives going on simultaneously with this life right now. So this life going on right now is her current, but there's other lives going on with her in it right now. So, and they're on there. Every one of those are based on each choice that was either made or not made. So that is what's going on right now. So you basically, I couldn't tell you the amount of little light is around because it's so many.
Right.
And that, because the divine is like, it's like a computer. It's just really like a computer. And he is he's very logical, like a computer. He wants to know how do you achieve love and base your life based on these things? How do you get to love? And if you didn't choose love, why didn't you choose love? Why did you choose something else? Why was that be? And he wants to know every little thing, because that's how he gains perfection himself. And that's how you gain perfection, is because he gains perfection, you gain perfection as well. Right. Because you're not the same humans you were planet 1. You're a way different human, because as he perfects all of you. So understand as well. So as you perfect, he perfects. And every life is just to perfect. Everything, every little thing that, like a teacher correcting your homework and tells you what you could have done better. But that's up to you if you want to do it better, and that's why you have free will, because he just wants to know, what are you doing? It's like an experiment to him. Like, why? And then he's like a 2-year-old toddler. Why did you do that? Why?
Yeah.
So that's just the multiverse right now. But it's just like a clear like this, but it's like a bunch of bright, beautiful energy. And then when you time travel, and that's what I do. I just go like that, and I just kind of travel like upwards in a light, and I just go to the destination that I seek. And that's how I get to where I go.
Right. So everything is zeros and ones anyway. It's light and sound waves.
Yes.
So everything is kind of like Rick and Morty. Everything is being experienced at the same time, whether we're choosing to experience it or not, because the data is being collected.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about these lives that we come here, because I thought this was super interesting. So we come to perfect a life. So like I'm Angie, and this go round, you said I've been my mom, I've been Emily, I've been you, I've been my dad. Like that's how we truly learn. We learn, why did they do that? And then you experience it for yourself.
Right. So what happens is on that, I'm gonna bring Locaus because it's not, because we're going to do the ones that actually he's a teacher and he's experienced these types of different things. Remember, I don't experience this, so I don't want to, I don't understand what humans go through. So I will bring Locaus because he understands this more than I would.
Okay.
So Locaus.
Hi, Lucas. I've got Destiny has a question real quick that I wanted to jump in. Okay. She says, I've had a couple of experiences where I felt like I was kind of writing two realities, and my choices during those times felt like it decided the timeline I'm here to experience. Is that a thing?
Yes. Yes. That's a thing. Well, because before you get this is Locaus. Now, before you get here, I say, okay. I said, this is Loki now. I'm going to bring him back was their question. And that I got to let him talk for 5 seconds. Okay, so what it is when you're there in the divine and you're writing your chart, because that's what, like Marcus is talking about that interrogation. Okay.
Right.
Now, he will tell you the difference, what you could have done better. Was your role, was it the best role for you? Or like this time you were the daughter. Well, would it be better if you experienced it as a mom? Would it be better if you experienced it as a man? Or a dog or a cat, because you can choose absolutely anything, but usually if you've been human, it's just they usually stay human, but some people they choose whatever for their experience and that, but most of the time they just stay human. And let's just say, so Destiny, for example, probably wrote something in her perfection with the divine. The creator said, well, how about your choice here? And over here you keep kind of fluffing it up here. So I'm going to let you know at a certain time, this is what you need to achieve. So that tells me Destiny was Destiny in another life. Just like she redid this life already. Now Destiny wanted to redo it under her again, but change some things. But she kept blopping up. So because she was blopping here, and that it was given a choice to her, and the divine and her agreed how that decision was going to be made and fixed for her to get her on the right track, so she didn't blop up again. Because maybe next time she wants to be somebody different, but not be her. She wants to be somebody different. So that's what happened with Destiny. He wanted to keep her on the timeline they both agreed on, to keep her on the same track.
It's just mind-blowing.
Yes, it is very mind-blowing, yes.
Wow.
And I'm glad, and I love her questions because that is, humans do that. You feel like a blah, blah, that's what's happened. You've been on this slide probably 2 or 3 times, and now he just wants you to come on and, because he wants everybody to perfect their lives. Every life you have going on right now, he wants you to perfect it. So he is for you. He wants you to perfect it. He might drive you crazy in the process, but it's all to get you to perfection in love. This is to achieve love and that. But he wants to know the different ways for that to happen so he can perfect a human. Every time he wants to perfect a human. And if you look at your history books, you will see that humans have gotten perfected because he's perfected, so you will become perfected. Yeah. So that's what happens.
That's awesome.
So,
all right.
This is Locaus.
Okay. Yep.
So, and yes, he's better equipped to answer some of these. Yeah. But no, so you're talking about that. So what happens when you leave? You leave this plane. Now people worry that am I going to leave this life and immediately jump into a Japanese life or another life or this life? And it scares them. And I hear that. Of course, as myself when I was human, and here that was a fear. No. This life here, you have been different roles at different times. You could have been like Angela, for example. We'll use you as an example. You've been Emily. She's been you. You've been your dad. You've been your mom. You've been your grandma. You've been your cousins. You've been the famous, you've been Kurt Cobain, believe it or not. You've been him. You've been Chris Cornell. And you've been, different, like you've admired. You've been them. Because maybe sometimes you go, and then you like cry for them, and because they pass away, like Kurt, you were just so over it because you were Kurt. So it's like, it's weird, like you're just kind of, it's like you're watching yourself, like decisions he made. But see, when you were Kurt, that didn't happen to you.
Right.
That Kurt did that to him. You never did that. You ended up living a very long time and being a very good inspiration to other people when you were Kurt Cobain. When he was Kurt Cobain, he made some choices.
So I could be Elvis.
You could have been Elvis, yes.
See if I had as successful Elvis life as he did.
Right. Or Marilyn Monroe, or any of them, yes.
That's awesome, because you are just playing a role.
Right. You're just playing a role. And are you going to be successful? So in this case, Kurt, I'm not going to say he was not successful. For him, in the decisions he made, he was successful for what he did. Yeah. But when you were that, now how many other people been Kurt? Not just playing. It's so you played these roles, John Lennon, and all of that. Everybody, if it feels like sometimes you hear a death and you feel like you've experienced it, you probably have. And that. So, if you feel real close, and they're like soul connections, even if you've never met them, they are still soul connections to you. And that. So that's why some people have talents when they come here. They got these talents that they're very not aware of. And that we'll get into a little bit different on the talents arena, because that's an interesting thing. Remember, we were talking about that yesterday. Maybe we didn't really talk about that, but that goes along with the sickness and things that we were discussing yesterday.
Yes.
But yes, you have walked many, many roles in your life. So, and when you go to the divine, all you're doing is planning which role you want to play this time to perfect divine perfection. If you decide you want to do Angie again because you felt you could have done a little bit better, he will go, well, do you want to be the older sister? Do you need a brother? Do you need this or whatever to make it to where you can achieve what you're looking for and help him achieve what he's looking for? So not only is he looking for himself, he's looking for you. And your planetary as well is good with this, because they're picking up this information and it's perfecting the planet as well. So everything that you learn here, they perfect as well. So it's like a whole, it's like a learning system, is beyond. It's a beautiful universal love that literally is planetary, and the divine has got, and this creator's young, so of course they want to help this creator because this creator's magnificent to them. But and different galaxies. And all of this going on, like Rick and Morty is a great example of that. Because you can go and all that. But so you might have a life in Pleiades right now, just going on right now in Pleiades. Just because you're here doesn't mean you don't have a life here. You've got different lives, even on another planetary as well. But you're just but over there and these planets, you are your real self. When you're here, you're just on a roll. It's not you. You're wearing a mask, you're playing a part. Then the movie ends, and then you come back and play a different part. And you keep doing that in this particular. So you always come back in this life, but who will you come back as, man or a woman? Who will you come back as? And that is what you will all decide. And he will make sure it'll be for your perfection and his perfection as well, because his ideal is he wants you to have all your lives combined. At some point, all your lives be perfected, and you all achieve greatness, and you all will actually help each other move up the mountain of greatness. It's not going to so you really are all one. You're all one energy. You're just helping the divine with this input, information with love.
Okay, Destiny asked a good question. I think it's going to lead us into the next part of this. Does the multiverse affect our energy across dimensions?
Yes. Yes, we were talking about that yesterday. Well, she's very in tune to this because she's, yeah.
Like she's a step ahead of us. I feel like she's teaching me.
Well, you got to remember, she's been since Planet One. So, of course, so she was one that's held this up. Yeah. So, exactly. So we were talking about this yesterday. So, Angela, would you like to, so this is how I like to do it. You ask me, and I will give the information. And that it seems like it's easier because I'll go all over the place. It's a broad subject. So tell me, give me an example and I will give that back. If Destiny, you have any questions as well, please feel free to throw them, because these are very good questions. These are, or anybody on here, you're joining us now, talking about multiverses, and asking questions and that, but I'll have Angela kind of approach it. And in that, so Sean has energy.
Let's talk about my Lyme disease in this life and how that affected my other lives I have going on. Okay,
perfect. Now, see, when you had Lyme disease, you could validate they couldn't really help you. They didn't know what was going on with you. Well, and now your vibration was hitting on the level of a life currently going on right now. where you are a king's mistress and you were having a baby. And if you remember in the days, they would take the woman when she got pregnant and wouldn't let her leave the room. Especially they thought she could have a problem with the pregnancy. They would leave her in the room, lock the door, put the cross on, and nobody was going in there. The king could see her once a day. That's it. It was very like a ceremonious, very sad for the poor woman. And she was there by herself for the whole 9 months. So right now you're a mistress, and that's really, being your mistress, not the queen, you're the mistress. They're waiting to have a boy. And the low Lyme disease was you in that state trying to have a baby for the king and not to die because you didn't produce a male heir. Even though you're the mistress, it didn't matter. Your life's at risk. And you always felt when you were doing this Lyme disease, your life was at risk. You always felt that. Well, because in that life, your life is at risk. Because you don't have a male heir, he could have you beheaded for something, have you killed for something, and taken away somewhere else. And that's what they're very heartless, even to the queen, even to the mistress. That's what they do, find somebody else. Yeah. So while you're worrying about that in that life, it matched the vibration of you in this life. And hence, and so your body had to recreate that in some way. So the only way it knew how to do was bring the Lyme disease on.
So this body that we have is like our computer that's computing all these lives. So it doesn't know what our senses are sensing to know which illusion it's in. So we will feel what's going on in other lives, not having an understanding of it because our body doesn't have an understanding that it's not this reality because our mind is separate than our body.
That's the illusion.
Yes, that's the illusion.
That's the illusion.
Sounds like some King Henry VIII bullshit.
Well, it's what it is. Well, yeah, she's right. That's exactly the king.
Sorry, oh, I was his mistress. That's naughty bad.
No. Well, okay, okay. So this is Loki, and I'm glad she mentioned Henry VIII. Remember, I told you about the queen that got beheaded.
Yes.
You were the sister. You were the sister that nothing happened to. But she was the sister. Locaeus was the brother. So you're very welcome.
Yes, and he says, can you imagine how many autoimmune diseases are from this? It's crazy. That's what I thought. Too. So how do we fix this? So if we start to feel something that's not feeling right, what can we do?
All right, this is Locaeus. I'm back. Loki, he's so like, I beheaded you. Whatever. It's going to happen again, so whatever. Okay, so what happens is you would close your eyes, and you could get a candle, meditate, however you feel like it's best for you, but you would meditate and go within your body, because your soul is the soul that's computing for all these lives. Your body is just meat robot, but your soul knows what it can compute. Even if you don't even know what life, you don't have to know what life. You just need to know how to just in that energy, close your eyes, and you say something don't feel right, like maybe panic, maybe an anxiety, maybe you feel something off. There's a fear that's popping up that don't feel like yours. So you would go to within your soul, you ask, where is this coming from? And you will get the visual. Do you have a spirit attachment? And that could be it. So we would, take that off because it'll show there. Your guides will show you. Your soul will show you. But let's say you start kind of picturing it's you, but something doesn't feel right. You might smell mud. You might smell dirt or something like that. And you go, well, that's not strange. Or I smell perfume. No, it's not, because it's another life. Not my eyes closed, so I'm trying to help. And so you start doing that. So what you do is you say, I send love, because ultimately that's what the divine's looking for. I send love and healing and whatever the situation going on, because you don't want to delve into that life. Because if you delve into that life, you're not present in your life. So you can't be going into that life. So you have to be present within this life. So you're sending love to that particular situation going on. Because haven't you, and all you humans, and I felt this when I was here, there was a time in your life you felt sparked for no reason. You just felt this love coming at you, and you just, of course it's a divine, but you just felt like a sudden, like somebody sending you energy. Well, that's probably you sending you love to calm you down, because you're fretting on them. So yes, absolutely. You can send love to yourself wherever, but you don't have to know the situation. It's kind of best you don't know, because let that, whoever that part of you is learning a situation or a lesson, and you don't want to be a part of that because that's not your time to do. So it's always good if you want to do past life regression, you want to, if you want to find out your lives, but it's always best to stay in the present. But because they're trying to achieve a different lesson and you don't want to slow down the process. But that's what you do. So if you feel something's off, you would just, like Angela, you would have closed your eyes when you had the line, for example. And that would have probably took you a good maybe 2-3 months, because it's an onion peel you'd had to gone through to figure out where this was coming from. But then you would have finally felt like, I don't feel right. I feel like icky. I feel like this smells weird, because you would have probably got a moldy smell, a dark kind of weird smell. And then it would have all just been very strange to you. Then you would have felt like, well, why do I feel a baby around me? Why do I feel like I'm having a, because that's what will happen. Wow. And then you'll start, oh, this isn't my life. Then you disconnect from that life that sends her love, so she can get over whatever it is, which will, and it should stop. If it doesn't stop, it's another life, but you have to continue to find which one it is. But you don't have to find the life, send the energy to that particular life, but you have to send it to that life. But you might have 3 or 4 at the same time in that. So besides you having that with the childbirth, you were having 2 other things happening with your body, because you have to remember the same soul is computing. Right. So you had 4 different things. So, but it took you how long to get over that? So, I mean, but it takes a little bit for your soul to remember, wait a minute, I'm here present in this year. So I'm not here. So eventually your system will figure it out. Sometimes it doesn't figure it out, but you can fix it before that time though.
Destiny said she had a regression and it was wild. It helped her put some things into perspective. And there have been so many times that she felt the movement of a baby without being pregnant.
That's because she's probably pregnant somewhere in another life experiencing that.
Yeah, I felt
that. Validations. Yeah, she's validating that. Yeah, because there's another life going on somewhere. Now she's having a past life regression. What's going on when we say regression, what's going on is that particular life, you're just connecting at that vibrational soul level right now. Well, your vibrational level, you're connecting. So when she's having a past life regression, it's another her experiencing it, needing her help. Yep. And you're looking for help from any part of you that's a higher part of you that can help you. So when you're doing that, and that's what's happening to Destiny, but she figured it out though. She figured it out, but because she knows, because her soul, sometimes your soul can just remember to do that. Sometimes we don't remember in a panic. Tell you, it's a computer. It will tell you. The divine will tell you. You just follow that. You ask your guides.
Yeah. She said she hugged that me and we cried together, and it was amazing.
Absolutely.
With me, I remember sitting at our creek. So I was 4 or 5, and I used to like to sit at the creek with my legs dangling and look at all the bugs and stuff. And I felt a part of myself leave me. It was an older part of myself, like maybe it was a teenager, and she like came out of me and showed herself right beside me and said that things were too rough. She was going to leave for a while, and I may never see her again. It's like, oh my God, I just remember being so sad. I didn't understand it. And she came back to me in a vision, and I was still sitting there, and she apologized for leaving me, but said that her energy was needed somewhere else, that she could, and then she just came back in and I absorbed it.
Because that was you meditating.
That
was you meditating in a different realm, and you needed that part of you needed her to be there at that moment. You guys meditate with the park bench sitting with the you.
Yes.
There is a version of you sitting there waiting for that to happen, and it is happening. And you are really hugging yourself, and you are hugging yourself and loving yourself. That's another part of you meditating, wanting that closure. So that is really happening. You are, as an older part of you, reassuring a younger part of you. So that's a beautiful example of what I'm talking about the different choices. So you are meditating. I bet you were like meditating where you are now, and that was her back then. And you were telling her, yes, see, that's what happened. So yeah, that's what's going on. It's just you meditating.
Right.
So when we meditate, you really are making a difference within you, and you can heal these parts of yourself just by simply putting yourself back. And that's how you time travel, like as a human in this particular life, that's how you time travel. You just kind of see yourself in a part of your life you wish you could have helped, and you go back and you hug it, like Destiny just said, and like you just said. Yep. And that will help you. And believe it or not, it will affect your life here. Yeah. So you can't fix if you felt something was broken here, or you couldn't forgive it, you can still forgive it. If you felt back then there was this like a boy in school picked on you and you just couldn't forgive him, you can't forgive him. You go back to that situation and you just, and it is happening. You're as what you're saying it, and you're saying it to that part of you. And then when you get to hear, things are different, and it'll just maybe like a little minute change, but it'll be a change nonetheless.
Destiny asks, can you help me understand how this concept relates to a soul retrieval?
Oh, that's fragments. Okay, soul retrieval is your different fragments. Now that's where Loki comes in. I will let Loki address that because that's what he does. So we will bring Loki through.
Okay.
All right. So now she's talking about soul retrieval, and that's talking about your fragments.
Okay.
Okay. So when you come down here, you're energetic. Okay. I've seen this a lot. I mean, for every single planet. That's how I know here. So I'm the garbage collector. So what happens is your body is electrical. Okay, it's electrical. But like anything electrical, like your car, don't you have to fix it now and then and change your oil change? Have an oil change because it's all dirty oil. You have to get rid of that oil or your car's going to go. Same with fragmented energy. It can't stay within you. Let's say you start working on yourself. Now you got all this anger and you got this angry you, this sad you, and it separates from you. It doesn't have to stay with you. It can go off now. They can create havoc wherever. Now, when they say soul retrieval, that's what you're doing. You're just grabbing the different parts of you that left. Let's say you were in a terrible relationship or you were in a great relationship. Well, you left a part of yourself. You really do. If you had like this fantastic relationship, let's just say it just didn't work out, you left a part of yourself there. So that's what it is. A little part of your energy. That's your soul. The little part of your energetic spark stayed. Yeah. And that could be for good or for bad. If you were something you so loved in your life, you left a little part of yourself. Like Michelle left a little part of her in Gatlinburg. Loves Gatlinburg. Loves Cades Cove. Well, she left a little part of herself there. What you're doing is when you go to sleep, you can take yourself back to that point. That's so you're mapping yourself. You're mapping the good points in your life.
I went to Gatlinburg last night. I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
I have so many dreams. I'm going back and forth from Gatlinburg, and I'm always like, why am I always in Gatlinburg? That's
because you mapped it.
Right, because I've mapped it. That's so interesting.
You map good times and bad times.
Oh, yeah.
When you are doing a soul retrieval, that's what you're doing. It's just within this particular life, you're doing a soul retrieval. And sometimes you can even do you're doing a soul retrieval for maybe they say from like your past lives or any energy. What's going on is you're just retrieving it for this life. And you're just being the best version of yourself. So you do a soul retrieval, which is what a voodoo, they do, a shamanic, shamanic master, I would know. But as a shamanic master, all I'm doing is giving you back the best version of your life. The fragmented parts, the bad parts that are out, like causing all this havoc, we bring them through the divine light. And we take the energy to recycle in the earth, and it recycles the better energy because that's what she does. And it brings back to you the most divine part of you. Sometimes when you're talking to somebody, you leave your energy mark with them. Like you talk to anybody, you will leave a spark of yourself with that person. And soul retrieval is just bringing your energy. Maybe you didn't give you the permission to have that energy, yes or no, conscious or unconsciously, subconscious, whatever. Yeah, that's what soul retrieval is. You're just grabbing all the energy you've given to other people, whether willingly or not willingly. You're just taking that energy back. That is a soul retrieval. You're just grabbing a part of you that you gave away. Maybe when you looked at somebody and you made eye contact, well, you left a part of yourself. You may not even know that person, but you just left that. You can get that back. So when then we do energy work, that's what energy I'm getting back for everybody. So I kind of do it's what's called soul retrieval. What I do is I get the energy back that was either you give permission for or did not get permission. I still get that for you. And I give it back to you. And we share it with divine love because I don't know their energy corrupted that energy of your divine love. So I take it through the purple violet flame and the divine light. And I put the holy fire on that purple flame. And it comes back to you divine. It's not going to be corrupted because their energy may not match your energy. And I don't want to get back a low vibration to you. So that when we say soul retrieval, that is what is going on. That is it. But your mind, when you love something, it maps it out. That's why in dreams, like you go to your grandma's place, well, you've mapped it out. Yeah. And a certain time in your life with your grandma, you've mapped it out. Yeah. So it's like when you're childhood, you go, why am I here again? Well, you mapped it out for some reason.
I've mapped out a place. This is weird. So I have a moment I go back to frequently. I created it as a child. I was at grandma's house and I was laying on the couch and I was watching Gilligan's Island and she was sitting in a recliner. And there was just, I felt so safe in that moment that I mapped it out that there's many times I go back to that and I'll get up and hug her and I lay back down. It makes me cry just thinking about it because I can like,
you meditated. Huh, okay, can I explain how it happened?
Yes, please.
You meditated as here to her. She received a signal to do so. Because you remember when you did that, you didn't feel like it was you. It wasn't because it wasn't you. It was somebody else mapping that for you to remember.
I felt like someone was, I feel like I saw me come in and
you did.
But I didn't quite understand what was going on. And I just knew it was something special because it just kept saying it's special. This is good. It's special. And it's anytime I've seen that Gilligan's Island episode, it takes me there even stronger. I love that.
Oh, that's because you mapped it out because you knew as the older you knew as a child, you wouldn't remember. So you wanted to always remember this precious moment. But as a child, you're not going to really be grateful for it because you're not going to understand it at that particular moment. The older you knew this. So she went to the younger you to make sure that this was a moment you could always remember. That's why it brings you so much tears. And I want to just say this. I believe that you did this before you were leaving a life last time. You're mapping it out to make sure you always remember that maybe this is going to be a moment for you that takes you to a really good place. And maybe last time you did this life, you didn't map it out correctly. And you would have wished you could have remembered it, but you didn't remember the details. So this version was like, I will remember this. I will remember this. I vow the term I will remember this. So the older you made sure she would remember this. Because this feels like before you leave, because, this feels like a Loki, when me and Loki, before people are leaving. Yeah. That's what this feels like. I feel I could remember because I can't remember the beautiful memories. And this feels like you were mapping this as you were leaving that life before, and you're mapping because you wish you could have remembered grandma and this, what I felt, but I can't remember. But this one was like, you come back and you ask the divine, help me remember. And that part of you came back with your divine assistance. Lazarus helped you go back because it was you and angelic assistance helping you out. And that's why it felt, and you felt this jolt of energy, and you felt, and that's why it brings you tears, because love will bring that. Divine love brings that. So that's what happened to you.
I love it. I love finally knowing what had happened because I go there a lot. You
go there because before you were leaving that life.
I go there so much. Sometimes I wonder if Grandma knows what's going on.
Yes.
I feel like she knows it's me at different stages of my life coming just to get that hug from her. It's weird. I do think
she knows. Oh no, she knows absolutely, because that was a precious moment for your grandma. Well, that was a precious moment for your grandma. Not only for you, but for your grandma. You both mapped that out together.
Oh, I love that.
You kept special moments that felt to her, so that was one for both of you. For both of you, that was a special moment. But you both mapped it. She knows that. She loves that. So that's absolutely what is going on. Yes.
I love that. Are there any questions about any of this stuff? This has just been beyond fascinating to me. And it makes me feel a lot more at ease with all of it. Destiny says, I feel like I was so fractured from my childhood that I'm disconnected.
Okay. Well, what she needs to do is she needs to go herself now and meditate and send that part of her love. Because you've lived that life. Now see what has happened. Some of the bumps that she's changed, because she's probably lived this life. I feel this is her third go around as Destiny. So I feel that she needs to go back, and the reason she's so fractured is because it's been the same. The old saying, if you keep doing something over and over and over and over, it just feels like a death sentence. So that's probably what happened, was she was repeating the same thing over and over and over and over all 3 times. So what she needs to do, forgive that part for whatever, and she needs to go back and just love her. Go back to these fractured moments. And when she does this, to message one of us, and we consider that loving energy, Lazarus can stand beside her and help her out. Her spirit guides can help her out. So let us know. We can help that loving energy, because when you start taking the onion peel off, you have to nourish that onion. As you take it off, you have to nourish it with love as well and energy. So we can help her with that. But that's what she needs to do. And the more she sends love, and I feel this could be a 2 or 3 month project for her, make sure her husband's around. I don't want her to do this by herself. I will be there with her. All she's got to do is ask and give that part of her love. And she'll start feeling connected to it again. I promise she will start feeling connected to it again.
Marianne said hi to Loki, and she said, so our lives run parallel. Yeah, it's so fascinating. So like Eckhart Tolle talks about how power of now to be here now. So that really is, that is where our power is. That is, we are giving our attention to this life to try to have this life be the best life.
And this is Loki, and absolutely, you only have the now. You only have the now to live. So he's right, the power of now really is now. That is it. You guys got the power of now. And I'm unique in the fact that I never die. But I don't go and follow your human rules, but I'm great to tell you what happens to each of your planetary and that. And there's a long story why none of this applies to me. We'll go to that a different live, because I feel this has been overwhelming with information. But absolutely, it's very interesting. You only have this now. All you humans have is now. But you can, and while you're in the power of now, you work on that. So if there's something in your past that you don't agree with, like Lokeia said and Marcus has said or would say, go back and love that part. Like with Destiny, when she says that, I feel she's probably got a lot of fragments, and she probably needs soul retrieval on that. I can help her with that if she's interested. I can help her out. I can help with the soul retrievals within these different lives. When I say that, it would be each of the times that she had here, the 3 different times she had. Find the best version of her, and let's work on that childhood. I can help her with that. So and hi, Marianne. How are you? I love Marianne. That's my sister. I love her. So hi, Marianne.
Yeah, I've got cards if anybody had any questions.
I have cards right here, and I'll bring Lokeis for that. But I do have, but Michelle has cards over here too.
If anybody has any questions, otherwise maybe we just pull a card and see what the message is for the week. Destiny says yes, please, for the help on the soul retrieval. Okay,
this is Loki. Tell her. Oh, she can hear me. Tell her. Why am I saying that? She can hear me. I apologize. I never die. Okay, no, go back to that. I never die. No. Okay, so tonight what will happen, Destiny? Because I can just tell you this. Yeah. So, Destiny, so tonight about 10 or 11, I will do that energy work. I do my best work at night. So what I'll do, all she's got to do is sleep. I will do the rest. She's going to feel a lot better in the morning, and she's going to feel a lot more connected to her life and her childhood. We'll work on that. And anytime you need me, just say Loki, and I'm there. Marianne can tell you, I am there. When I say I'm going to be somewhere, I will be there. I sat with Marianne in the hospital. She knows I was there the whole time. And so if I say I'm going to be there, I will be there. Just call me. I will be there. I will do something to get your attention. I usually show up on the left side. So if you feel a tap on the left side, that is me. That's just me saying, hey, hello, I'm here for you. So for Destiny, I will do the soul retrieval for her, help her out. And I will give her enough energy for whenever she decides to do the soul for like helping her younger self, she'll have that energy access to her. I can keep a bubble around her. All she's got to do is access that energy when she's ready. All she says, energy activate, and it'll help her out. And then when she's done, energy deactivate, and it'll be there. So anytime she feels on her convenience level, whenever she wants to do this.
Perfect.
So, and this is Lokeis, and I'm here for the cards.
Mary Ann asked, can you do a twin healing tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is Loki again. Yes, I will do that because Ted and me, I get along with Ted. I will do that. Lokeis, he does not like Lokeis, and that is funny to me that he likes me. I get Ted. We get each other. So tell her absolutely. I have her back on that. I will do that for her, and I will message her tomorrow with what happened so she knows what's going on with Ted and everything. And I'll say I do not mind at all. And I will as well send you some loving energy, Marianne, for your leg as well. Because she's having a little bit with her legs. So I will send her some energy.
Destiny posted like the little superhero emoji with energy activate. Like the laugh crying emojis. It's very funny. Yeah.
That's what it's funny. I have no other thing to say. So yeah, it's like energy activate. Whatever she wants to do. She can get very creative. She could go beep bop, boop bop bop, energy, whatever, whatever she wants to do. I don't care. Or the Superman, da, 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 what I don't know. It don't activate. So I love that. That's great.
So I pulled the card of hope.
Okay.
From the Katsuni. So hope is like our message for the week. Hope is the offering that carries us forward into the darkness, unbowed and unbroken, despite the knowledge of the true challenges which face us. Hope allows us to see the beauty and exquisite shifts and changes within the natural world without becoming frightened of what they are omens of, the winter of the soul. When this card comes to you, you are asked to be receptive to hope and to allow its gentle, uplifting sweetness to bring joy and comfort into the days that grow cold. Hope will allow you to be realistic, but to also stay present and without fear, which can cripple and inhibit our pleasure in the turning of the wheel of the year. As your life moves into a time that will bring some challenges, you are given the gift of hope, which will stay with you, helping you to see the gifts in all the moments in which others will allow the challenge to steal the meaning from them. Allow the changes to take place and treasure all the time you can spend with loved ones and with the natural world, and give yourself the time to relish the ever-changing world all about you. Reach out and take the gift of hope. Carry it within your heart and let it warm you, even as the days become harsher, even as people grow cold. Know that this time is impermanent and that all will change again and again. You're within a beautiful time that will not last externally, but the offering of its beauty will stay alive in your energy for all time. Give yourself time in nature, observe changes, and watch others as they change too.
The Sto Loki, and yes, absolutely. If you notice, it kind of corresponds to what we were talking about.
I thought the same thing. Of course it does.
Okay, so of course it does. So I pulled from the Kitsune as well, because it's right here. That seems so funny. And we pulled out coming of age.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, and this is me now. This is me and Merlin. So this could be Loki on steroids, twice as much. So. Yeah. So I either say you're all welcome, or so it's all you. Just all you however you want to take it. So since he doesn't want to read it, we're going to bring Locaeus to read it, and then we're going to come back. So we don't read. We're going to let Locaeus read it, and then we'll come back to put other input.
Yeah.
As a Locaeus, thank you, Loki and Merlin. All right. So when a blessed and fortune-giving Kitsune reaches 100, they receive a tail with the ability to shift into other forms, even that of a human. With each year that passes, they gather to themselves more energy, and with every 100th year period, they receive another tail. And when they reach the stage where they have earned 9 tails, they are at a whole different evolutionary level to the other Kitsune. They are so powerful that they can take any shape they wish, and they can move between heaven and earth into visibility and invisibility, and they can store that energy they have gathered in a pearl, which can be released and directed and shared with other beings. The 9-tailed fox has come to you now to share some of the energy of their many lives, the stored energy which you are able to use at this time. There is no cost to this process, for this is the duty of the Kitsune. When they see someone falling just ever so slightly short of their potential, they can direct and share the stored energy, and it flows into you, and you know you have become more than you once were. You have earned this energy through your actions, and you have deserved this chance for some time now. That it was one particular act of kindness which brought good fortune to another that turned the tide for you and brought you to the attention of the 9 tails. Take a moment now to feel the gathering force within you, flowing to all of yourselves, expanding your potential, enlarging your very being until the true potential of your being is reached. And when that point comes, reach for that what is you have dreamt of doing. No more holding back for fear you are not enough. You are more than enough. You are the new version of your own self, and you are beloved of the magical ones. What were we just saying? Once again. That's what we just said.
I think it's so funny.
And this is
Destiny says she used to work at Starbucks and would always say, beep, boop, boop, your total is. Funny. Marianne said, thank you. She needs energy for her legs. She's been sitting here crying. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and this is Loki, Merlin. Yeah, she's kind of by herself doing this. So right now, Marianne knows I can't say a lot. Gotta keep some things quiet. I can't travel to her like I want to. She knows the situation. It's to say we got to let some things kind of whoop down a little bit. I kind of go under the radar because I'm sneaky as hell. So we do that. But Locaus has been giving her energy, and we've been giving her energy to help her as much as we can because she's by herself doing this. And yeah. So we do. I can't. I do as much as I possibly can for her. I can do energy clearings like with Ted. I can do that. The certain like coming to her like astral dreams, I have to kind of watch it. She knows why I have to watch it due to just family affairs. You got to wait. But we're good. But we all know I can come around and I get it at the end, so it's all right. And we all know that. But we'll send you prayers and love and everything. And Locaus has been there with her, trying to help her as much as trying to get her divine help as much as he possibly can, and bringing the divine to her. So yes, we'll keep her in our prayers and send energy.
Absolutely. This was great. My brain is super tired. Like after we talked yesterday, I just came home and like slept all day. Like took a nap and couldn't stay awake. I woke up for a little bit to like play with a rat and eat some ice cream. Like went back to bed.
Oh, and this is Marcus, and yes, well, and this is how I kind of want to end things right now. This is how I gotta want to do. Beep bop, boop bop, all this love to everybody. Beep bop, boop bop. Your life is unconditional love equals love. Destiny's brought it in my head. It's been beep bop. It just sticks in my head.
Destiny would have no could she request a clearing for her whole family. Chris is interested. She's not sure about her boys. So I guess you can go to whoever's higher self is allowing.
You're right. Well. This is still Marcus. I guess we're just used to saying it. So what we'll do is we will go to, like Angela said, we'll go to the higher self, and I can ask, and I can already tell you they're all her boys are interested. One's on the fence, one's kind of debating on it, but when he sees his brothers, he will want it too. So yeah, I can already tell you right now they're all excited about this energy clearing because mom looks fantastic. So they want that. So yes, absolutely. Where I do that, and this is Loki now because Marcus just handed it to me. This is Loki now. And I do this Thursday nights. So I will add them on my list of energy. And I'll just keep them on my energy of every week. I have a list of every week I do. Angela, you're on that list. And I just, and every week I do this. So I'll just add her family to that list.
Perfect. Marianne said, thanks for all the energy and prayers. Absolutely.
Not a problem. And yeah, we have her.
We need all the divine help we can get. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we're here for everybody, and we'll get. And I've been doing a lot of energy behind the scenes for Mary as much as I can do without being. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, remember how I took you girls where I was at, and I had to hid you in my cloak. Remember when Scott was on that boat he shouldn't have been on? See, I do a lot of sneaky things, Marianne, and I don't get caught.
A lot of sneakies.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes they make no sense, but I get away with it.
Destiny says she truly appreciates us all. I appreciate this spirit team, man. I think it's awesome. I'm glad that they can use us for stuff. Although we do have a little complaint that Michelle and I will discuss on Thursday with there's a little channeling complaint going on. It's all right.
I know. Well, because right now, like Michelle right now, she has to pee like a damn racehorse. But when it's time for her, I'll exit out and she'll be like, oh my God.
I know.
Funny to us. It is funny for us.
It's not funny for us. It hurts. It hurts. I'm glad you channeled, but I'm coming more and more to me, and it's like, oh God, I gotta be really bad.
Well, that is when she gets out of the live after everything is turned off. She goes, oh shit. So yeah. So I guess that is going to be your sister's story time complaining about us.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I understand. I get that. Yeah. We deserve that much. Well, Locaus does because he's the alleged best friend of Jesus.
Yeah, and when we first got on here, you were listening to John Denver and I was listening to John Lennon. We were John
Rocky Mountain High's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got the Johns going.
Marianne said Kane is not so lucky.
I know. Yeah. Well, that is my brother. That's well, because she's our sister. That's our brother, and yes, he is. Some things are going on, but what I would like to say, give this to Marianne. He did tell me to look after his sister because he's kind of cannot right now. So he said, look after our sister. And when I can, because he knows I'm Mr. Sneaking About. So he knows that he hasn't learned to sneaking about like I have because I'm very old. He's a little bit newer than I am, but he just wants to make sure she's protected. And I promised I would always protect her because he cannot right now because I'm Mr. Sneaking About. So on his behalf, I am here to protect because he told me, can I please keep an eye on his sister? And I am here I want to make that sure that she knows that promised that a couple of days ago. So basically I'm kind of, I always will protect her anyway, but on Kane's brother's behalf, I will as well be, because, it's not like a pinky promise, we didn't do no pinky promise, but look after sis. I said, I've got it. He goes, well, I know you got it. I know that I'm like, I know, right? But she's going to be well taken care of because Kane loves her. Still loves her, and that's what he wants, and that's the message he wanted me to give. He's just saying to Marianne, no matter what happens, he loves her, no matter what. And Loki will take good care in my seed for now, and hopefully maybe things can be lifted. We'll try.
Perfect. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for the questions and the interaction. Marianne said, when you see Kane, tell him I love it.
I will absolutely do that for her, no problem.
This was great. I don't know what our next Tuesday teaching is going to be about. If you guys have any recommendations, if there's something you'd like to know, give us a shout out. Otherwise, we'll come up with something. Destiny said, thank you, and both have a happy day. I think we're going to have a happy day after we empty our bladders. That'll be the first step to happy day.
Yeah, well, this is Marcus. We're still not going to let Michelle know. I'm just going to let her find out than that. But this is Marcus, and absolutely, let's be that spark of unconditional love for everybody. This was a fantastic live. We loved all the questions and everybody that joined in on us. And anybody in the future that is watching this and they're watching it at a later date, we love you and appreciate you as well. Comment anything, and that we love everybody's information, its input on everything. Yes. And if anybody has any ideas for life, we love to discuss whatever you want, we will discuss. Yes. Because that is why we're here to do. That's what they love to do this. So just let us know, and we will make sure that we make a live about that.
And Destiny said she'll overload us with topics. Bring it.
Bring it, Destiny. We want that, please. Remember, you stood beside me when I died. Of course, I had to make sure he had all the information according to the divine. But she's an overload of information. We have it. Go ahead. You just bring it on. We have it. We love the information and the input you can. So please, we appreciate it. And Marianne and her for joining us. We're very happy they did with all their input they added. So any ideas, but bring it on to Destiny, bring it on. As I always told you in that life, bring it on. Nothing is too complicated. We got you. We want to do this.
Awesome. Love y'all. We will see you in our next whatever it is.